What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush. Let's talk Jets radio. The bye week is here. Thank goodness. I think we could all use it, including the coaches, the players, the media, the fans, everybody. I think it's a nice break for everybody, probably coming at the right time, especially for the quarterback. But this is just an assessment after 5 games. Understanding the expectations for this team were not very high. We weren't talking playoffs. We weren't talking championships. The whole goal is to see this young team grow and get better every week, with an eye on the end of the season where you can say, you know what, we know who our building blocks are. We know what our identity is on offense and defense. So I guess I'll start with the coaching staff right now. It's, it's a lot of inexperience, man. First-time head coach, first-time offensive coordinator, first-time quarterback coach. A lot of guys learning on the fly. Add in all the adversity with, struggling players, injured players, everything else. So, Salah's had his hands full. It's hard to even evaluate. I think he's trying to do a good job of being a CEO of the team, but that'll be tested this week. Where will he get more hands-on with the offense? He is very well versed in the team. He's very, he's fluent in both sides of the ball. How that will play out going forward, we'll see, because the success of the quarterback rides on that. So the coordinator, on defensive side of the ball, I think for most part they probably overachieved at this point, considering all the injuries. Well, Carl Lawson's out, Jabber Davis is out. Both safeties are out. The corners are crazy inexperienced. So I think there you're probably impressed or kind of hopeful, saying, you know what, once we get more studs on this team, this defense can shine. And then you have young guys emerging. You have your Bryce Huff, you have your John Franklin Myers. So you got to be happy there. Offensively, the quarterback is struggling. You're worrying about the play calling. You're kind of worrying about how the offensive line is playing. So I think there's probably some concerns there. I think the loss of Greg Knapp, may he rest in peace, was enormous. They did bring in Matt Cavanaugh, but I think it's probably too little too late at this point. But, it is what it is. So you go on offense. I'll start with the quarterback, and he's had a rough start. And I think we all expected a roller coaster ride for Zach Wilson, and we're getting exactly that. I don't think any of us anticipated him playing this poorly at times. And at times he looks completely overwhelmed. He looks lost. And, it hasn't been pretty. Then he had the one game with the Titans where he made some, money throws. You're like, wow, that's a glimpse of what he can be. But he's far too inconsistent. His footwork goes off the rails. He's throwing worm burners, and he hit an offensive lineman in the back of the head. So this is, it's the evaluation process is going to take a long time to figure out what he really is. But, it hasn't been pretty. It's been quite frustrating to watch, especially when you look all across the NFL and other quarterbacks are playing well, especially backup quarterbacks coming in and everything else. So it's been rough. But the quarterback position itself, I still think the Jets made a mistake by not bringing a veteran quarterback. This isn't second guessing. I've been saying this since April. And the dividends would have been having that guy on the sideline to help him, having a guy working through him, having a guy pushing him in practice, and then having the ability to say, you know what, if he does struggle, how about we sit him out, take him out of the game or whatever it is, and bring in the guy. So, especially the Patriot game, where you can make a good argument probably shouldn't take him out of the game, because there's a fine line of when you keeping a kid in to, learn and work through it, and then doing damage and regressing, where keeping him in the game can be counterproductive. The Jets are walking a very fine line with that. So I don't agree with the decision to not bring a veteran quarterback, but that's what they did. The running back position has been a pleasant surprise. I think Michael Carter has been phenomenal. Hopefully he gets more carries as the season goes on. Their biggest struggle right now, obviously, is not getting enough snaps, but also I think they struggle in blitz pickup at times too. Tevin Coleman has shown he's a veteran leader, still quite explosive. Ty Johnson has some struggles with just blitz pickup and dropping passes, but overall that position group has been pretty good. Michael P. Ryan has been inactive and pretty much has not done anything, which has been a disappointment. You go to the tight end position, complete waste. And if you want to look at Joe Douglas and kind of question him, bringing in Tyler Croft was not enough. Ryan Griffin is what it is. Trayvon Wesco is becoming a very good blocker. You wish he was more well-rounded, where he could actually catch the ball at the backfield and do more. But the position is a huge hole in this offense, and which usually is a kind of like the safety valve for the young quarterback. It's not by no means that. So that makes you kind of change your game plan a little bit, but definitely a miss with Joe Douglas, in my opinion. Hopefully he can bring somebody in before the trade deadline, or keep searching around. Like the guy the Panthers picked up, Arnold, that's kind of like a guy like that. Or not Panthers picked up, the Jaguars picked up. The Panthers traded him. That's some guy to be a good fit here. but didn't happen. The wide receiver group, which we all thought would be the biggest strength on the team, or like an area positive, has struggled tremendously. Now, Corey Davis, the marquee free agent, he's had some good games, but he is crazy inconsistent with his drops. It's frustrating as hell, to be honest with you. Jamison Crowder's been hurt. He came back. He made a couple big plays. Then then he kind of vanishes. Elijah Moore, who many people said would be rookie of the year, and we were all praising him throughout, the whole training camp and preseason, has done next to nothing. A couple big drops, and has been completely just like a ghost. And it's just, you don't know if it's play calling, if it's route running. We don't really know what it is, but it's been a disappointment. Denzel Mims has been a never-ending saga, which makes absolutely no sense to me. And the Jets are talking in turns about, first he had to learn all the positions, then it was he's got to earn the reps, then there's guys in front of him, then he doesn't play special teams. To me, it's all nonsense. Get him on the field, because right now your offense is so bad, you got to get your playmakers on the field. Playmakers make plays, and right now nobody's making plays. So the wide receiver group as a whole has been a disappointment, which is surprising considering this is probably the most talent this team has had in a few years. So, I mean, the offensive line, again, Mekhi Becton getting hurt is very disappointing, because you're hoping to see him build off last year, and it's not happening at all. So now you wonder, when will he get back? When will he be fully healthy and in game shape? And how will he play next to Vera Tucker? We don't know that. Now, George Fant is filled in admirably. I always say that word wrong, but it's just, you want Becton on the field. Vera Tucker is finally healthy and back. He played very well last week. Hopefully he can grow on that. McGovern at center is ridiculously inconsistent. I'm not really a fan of him. And it makes you wonder what Joe Douglas was thinking this year, because you want to put the guys in front of your quarterback. They can all grow together. Like the center is the anchor, and the guy, you want to have your center and your quarterback together so they can grow together for years to come. That's not going to be the case. I don't think McGovern is by no means a long-term answer. Greg Van Roten, not good. I think them losing Cam Clark early on to injury probably was a setback, but he has not been good. Moses at right tackle has been good. I don't understand why in the living hell the Jets thought to start Fant over him in week one. Again, that's where all these questions about the offensive coordinator come in, where the wide receivers are underperforming. The offensive line struggled. Some of the decisions on the offensive line made no sense, and just, it is what it is. So on the defensive side of the ball, obviously I mentioned earlier that they've overachieved in many areas. John Franklin Myers and Bryce Huff have been, running rampant, which is awesome. Salah's opinion is that he puts a premium on the defensive front, and it's getting as much pressure. It's more of just attack. Don't think, attack, be aggressive, come forward. So John Franklin Myers, Bryce Huff taking advantage of that. Quinn Williams suffered an injury early. He was recovering from an injury, so they kind of bring him back slowly. He's not been the disruptive force we thought he was going to be yet, but it's only been 5 games. Rankins has been very good. Fodokasi, who was a team captain, has been playing very well. Nathan Shepard seems to be getting a penalty or two every week, which drives you absolutely crazy. So that's been a little bit disappointing. If you go off to your linebackers, Quincy Williams has been a pleasant surprise, as that position was destroyed by injuries. Sherwood went down, Jared Davis went down, so the Jets kind of had to, patch together their linebacker group. So, Quincy Williams is doing a really good job. C.J. Mosley's playing at a Pro Bowl level, and he's got to be just swimming at this point, where he's playing at a high level, but the guys next to him seem to be changing on a weekly basis. So he had to overcome that. Plus the young guys behind him. He's like a veteran leader, but he's got to be like, what the hell's going on around me? So he's trying to keep it all together, but he's lost weight, and he's playing phenomenal, and he's staying healthy, which is more important. On the other side, Sherwood and all these guys, it's just been, there's so many different players that have been switching in and out. Blake Cashman can't stay healthy, so it's been kind of frustrating. Then you look at the corners, and Bryce Hall is emerging as a very good corner, which is a pleasant surprise. Last year he was injured. He's working his way, but he's definitely taken on to this coaching, and he's playing very good. Javelin Guidry as well. Michael Carter's been a nice surprise. They have, young players in the secondary. Brandon Eccles, another player that's been doing pretty well. So it's encouraging, and you hope to see the more they get tested, the more they grow together. Salah doesn't really put him on an island too much. He keeps him a lot of zones. Then when he blitzes, they go in the coverage. But it's been really encouraging, and that's probably one of the, a real positive, where we thought it was going to be a weakness. It's actually been a strength, where they all compete day in and day out, and they're playing very well. The safety position has been a disaster. Marcus May went out. LaMarcus Joyner's out for the year. So they've been patching guys in that I don't even know who half these guys are. Ashton Davis is finally back healthy, so he's in there. Hopefully you can see a lot out of him as the season plays out because you need him. You need his speed, his athleticism, and you got to see him on the field making plays to figure out what his role is going forward. So other than that, I mean, this is kind of where we are. You're a 1-4 team. Danny Amendola is playing his kicker. I mean, whatever. The punter got hurt, and they had they brought in the guy from the Saints. But overall, the team has been it's been a rough grind because the offense has been so bad. The defense is on the field too long, so that's going to wear everybody out. Like this past game against the Falcons, when you go 3-and-out, and you have 2 long drives against the defense, they're going to get tired. And then, obviously, sooner or later, their frustration kicks in and a lot of different things. So, again, it's a rebuilding team. It's young. They have a lot of room for improvement. I truly hope there's a lot of self-scouting done on offense because you cannot continue to play this kind of football. It's not good in any facet. And then the defense continue to grow. You're going to get a lot of players back. I mean, not a lot of players, but you're going to get Jared Davis back, which will help. So you can get a little bit healthier. Marcus May should be back after the bye, which will help as well. And then you wonder what happens during the trade deadline too. If you have guys like Crowder and May who may not be back next year, do the Jets consider trading them or not? I genuinely don't know. You can make a case either way, but it's gonna be interesting. It's never a dull moment with this team. A lot of frustration, especially for me personally, where it's like you want to see this quality football. The Patriot game was rough with the interceptions. You see things, you're just like, come on, man. Like you want them to just play happy, competitive football. Not happy, but like quality, competitive football with like a high-flying offense. And you see Wilson get comfortable, and you could see the explosive nature and Mims and Moore, and you can see all these great things, and we haven't really seen any of it. If we're being honest, they played, 20 quarters of football, and they probably played maybe 4 quality quarters of offensive football, if that. It hasn't been much. So a lot of room for improvement. To anybody calling for anybody to be fired and like that, it's way too early for that. But you got to really hope that this coaching staff is as advertised, and they're just day in and day out studying film and trying to find ways to make changes. I would, if you can find ways to upgrade the offensive line during any time before the trade deadline or anything else, I would look at that. Tight end position as well. I mean, leave no stone unturned because you've got to figure out ways to get this offense rolling. You cannot stay like this all year long. It's just painful, especially when you haven't played the top-level teams yet. When you play the Bills and the Buccaneers and all these other teams, I mean, that's going to be just tough to watch. So, thank you for watching. I can't believe this video was 13 minutes long, so I probably missed some players, and you can leave some comments here. We want to thank everybody for watching all our streams and sticking with us through all this stuff and our chaos. We definitely appreciate it, and have a good day.